The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told us exactly what this world would look like before it ends. Not in vague symbols, not in riddles, in clear, specific, undeniable detail. And when you see how many of those signs are already here, already happening around you right now, it will change the way you see everything. Over 1,400 years ago, a man in the desert of Arabia described a world where music would fill every home, where people would compete in building tall structures, where a mother would give birth to her own master, where time would feel like it is moving too fast, where trusted people would become rare, and strangers would feel closer than brothers. He described our world, and he did it with a precision that no human being could manufacture. These are the minor signs of Judgment Day, and most people think they are still coming. The reality is, most of them are already gone, already fulfilled, already behind us. Let that sit for a moment. We talk about the Day of Judgment like it is something distant, something for future generations to worry about. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, placed signs on the road to that day like markers, and we have already passed most of them without even realizing it. We are not waiting for the signs. We are living inside them. So let us go through them, every single one, and you tell me, does this sound like the future, or does this sound like your life right now? The first signs the Prophet ﷺ mentioned were about knowledge. He said that knowledge would be lifted from the earth. Now, many people misunderstand this. They think it means books will disappear or that people will forget how to read. That is not what it means. He said knowledge would be lifted through the death of scholars. One by one, the great scholars of Islam would leave this world, and they would not be replaced. And in their place, ignorant people would rise, people who would give religious rulings without knowledge, leading themselves and others astray. Look around you. This is happening. We live in a time where anyone with a phone and an opinion can become a religious authority to thousands of people. Where scholars who spent decades learning are dismissed, and people with no training are followed blindly. The Prophet ﷺ saw this. He warned us about this. He also said that fornication would become widespread and open. Not hidden, not shameful. Open. Celebrated even. He said alcohol would be consumed in large quantities. He said music would be everywhere. Think about that. In a time when these things were deeply shameful in society, he described a world where they would be completely normalized, where people would not even feel wrong doing them. That world is here. He spoke about a time when people would compete in the height of their buildings. When you travel to cities today, Dubai, New York, Shanghai, even smaller cities, the skyline is a race. Who can build higher? Who can build more impressively? This sign is so specific, it almost feels like he was standing in a modern city and describing what he saw. He mentioned that a man would pass by someone's grave and say, "I wish I were in his place," not out of longing for the afterlife, but out of pure exhaustion from the suffering of this world. People today are carrying a weight that their parents never carried: anxiety, depression, loneliness in a world more connected than ever. People are tired, deeply tired, and many do wish, quietly, that it was just over. He warned about the breaking of family ties, about people cutting off their own blood relatives, about parents being treated like strangers, about children growing up without the warmth and protection of real family. He warned about neighbors not knowing each other. You can live next to someone for 5 years and never learn their name. This is normal now. He said it would happen. He spoke about trust disappearing, that you would look to those around you and struggle to find someone truly honest, someone who keeps their word, someone who you could hand your most precious thing to and know it would be safe. He said business dealings would become filled with deception, that people would lie without any guilt, that honesty would become so rare it would feel like a weakness. Do you not feel this? Does this not describe the world you navigate every single day? He spoke about time. He said that time would contract, that a year would feel like a month like a week like a day like an hour. Scientists today talk about the psychological experience of time speeding up as we age, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, was not talking about psychology. He was talking about barakah, the blessing being removed from time itself. You wake up, and somehow the week is already over. You blink, and the year is gone. This is not in your head. This is a sign. He mentioned that the number of men would decrease and women would increase until there would be one man responsible for 50 women. Some scholars interpret this as a sign of future wars and conflicts that would take the lives of men in enormous numbers. Others see it reflected even now in certain demographic shifts across the world. Either way, it is coming, if it has not already begun. He warned about rain falling, but the earth not growing anything from it, about blessings disappearing from the land, from food, from daily life, about wealth increasing, but happiness decreasing. Think about how much the world has materially. Think about how little of it translates into peace. People have more than any generation before them, and yet the rates of sadness, hopelessness, and inner emptiness have never been higher. He also spoke about women being dressed but appearing naked. He said they would be clothed yet uncovered, walking in a way that draws attention, and that this would become so common it would be seen as normal and even admirable. You do not need to look far to see this sign walking past you every single day. And then there is a sign that stops people cold when they hear it. He said a slave woman would give birth to her master. Scholars have interpreted this in different ways. Some say it refers to daughters being raised with such authority over their own parents that the parent serves the child completely, reversing the natural order. Others point to deeper meanings about authority being given to those who do not deserve it, but every interpretation points to the same reality, the natural order of things being completely flipped upside down. He warned about leaders who do not deserve to lead, about power going to people who have no wisdom, no fear of Allah, no care for those they rule over, about decisions being made not for the people, but for personal gain, about a time when the worst of people would be placed in charge. You do not need me to tell you whether that sign has appeared. He said that pens would spread and writing would become common, meaning literacy and the recording of information would explode. Every human on Earth today carries in their pocket access to more written information than every library in history combined. The pen has spread beyond anything those early generations could have imagined. He warned that earthquakes would increase, that the Earth would shake more frequently. The data on seismic activity over the last century shows a clear rise. The Earth is restless. He knew it would be. Here is what all of this means. The minor signs are not a checklist for the curious. They are a mercy from Allah. They are meant to wake people up before the major signs arrive. And the major signs, when they come, will come fast and without pause. The Dajjal, the descent of Isa alayhi salam, Yajuj and Majuj, the sun rising from the west. These are coming, and the road leading to them is almost fully traveled. We are living in the final chapter. Not the beginning of the end, the middle of it. And the question is not whether these signs are real. You just saw them in your life, in your city, in your phone, in your mirror. The only question worth asking now is, what are you going to do with the time you still have left?